So for this question here, we're going to apply the same question or the same method that we did in question B. So again, we have f of x is equal to x plus 1 over x. And in order to determine whether it's increasing or decreasing, we need to find f prime of x and put the values in the table. So f prime of x, well, for this, it's equal to 1 plus, and then we have to use the quotient rule. So the derivative of 1 is 0 times x minus 1 times the derivative of x, which is 1, divided by x squared. So it'll give us 1 minus 1 over x squared is our f prime of x. So here we know that x is undefined at so f prime does not exist when x is equal to 0. So that's a vertical asymptote. And we know that f prime is equal to 0. So then what can we do? We can set it to, therefore we have zero is equal to 1 minus 1 over x squared. So then I move the 1 over x squared to the other side to get rid of the minus, is equal to 1. Multiply both sides by x squared, so I have 1 is equal to x squared, square root that. So plus minus 1 is equal to x. That means we have critical points at plus and minus 1. So critical points, x is equal to minus 1, x is equal to 1, and then we have a vertical asymptote at x is equal to 0. So what that means is we have to create a table with these three numbers and check to see the nature of our derivative for those three numbers. So let us make a table. So we know we'll have x smaller than minus 1, x equal to minus 1, x is between minus 1 and 0, x equal to 0, x between 0 and 1, and x greater than 1. Okay, so now we have our f prime of x, which is 1 minus 1 over x squared. So when, let's say, x is minus 2, we have 1 minus 1 over 4, so that'll give us something positive. Therefore, f prime of x is positive. That means f of x is increasing. When x is equal to minus 1, we have it's equal to 0. So we know it's either going to be a max or a minimum. Let's do minus 0.5. So that'll give something negative. So 1 minus 1 over 2 squared will give us 1 minus 4. So that'll give us something negative, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it'll give us 1 minus 4, which will give us a negative sign, so that means it's decreasing. And then at 0, well, that's non-defined, so that means it's non-defined, which means that this is non-defined, does not exist. And between 0, so we'll put 0.5, so that'll also be negative. This is negative, therefore it's decreasing. And when it's greater than 1, well then it's positive, so that's positive, and that means it's increasing. Oh, and we forgot that x is equal to 1. So that'll be 0. So we know this point here goes from increasing to decreasing. We know that's a maximum. And then we know this is decreasing to increasing, so this is a minimum. So now what's left to do is find our intervals of increase and decrease. So for our increasing interval, well, one is increasing, so when x is smaller than 1, negative 1, and greater than 1, as we can see here. So between negative infinity and negative 1, and 1 and positive infinity, and we have it decreasing between negative 1 and 1.